Hey y'all, it's the Chaplain of the Culture, Yale Masters of Divinity and Black Church Studies Scholar. Here we mix faith, culture, and experience, and we make that whole dance. And let's get into it. Let's talk Angel Reese and Emmanuel Acho. Did y'all see that?
I don't really get to speak, I don't think, just because I just try to ignore, and I just try to stand strong. Like, been attacked so many times, death threats, I've been sexualized, I've been threatened, I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. I just want to always just know, like, I'm still a human. Like,
Emmanuel Acho, NFL player and host of Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, he comments on college basketball superstar Angel Reese's getting emotional at her post-game interview.
Angel Reese, you can't beat a big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did, post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people, get your money up, then post-game when you take an L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L. And Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain. Shout out to you, because you were the second best basketball player on the court, and it was not close. Outside of Caitlin Clark, it was you. 17 and 20, dog. Showed up, biggest game, second biggest game of your career. Absolute dog, but you can't under any circumstance go to the podium and now try to ask for individuals to give you sympathy. No one has sympathy for the villain. You painted the bullseye on your back. Why are you surprised when people shoot at you? So if you want to act grown, if you want to pose grown, if you want to talk grown, if you want to talk to grown folks grown, then you got to take the L like you grown.
I mean, he really thought he was doing something, like he thought he ate that. And after his comments towards Angel Reese, it's evident that Acho lacks any significant context concerning the discourse on Black women and girls. So let me help school him and anybody else who needs this content. The idea that Angel Reese is not allowed to cry because she is being grown has got to stop. So many young Black girls have been suffocated with the narrative of being grown. We all know this is a community conversation because being grown is really just code for being independent, being powerful, being unapologetic about your bodily autonomy and your agency. What Acho is really offended at is her agency. You walk like this, you talk like this, you move like you grown. Like, grown people can't cry? Like, grown people don't have heavy burdens that weigh down on them? Emmanuel Acho is an example of how some Black people will adopt white mediations of Black women and girls and use those mediations as an absolute truth. Stay with me. The media will say, oh, Angel's unsportsmanlike. But then they go and say, she being grown. Angel Reese is known to be aggressive on the court, as she should be. But some say that she takes it too far. And so we must ask the question, takes it too far for who? Because last year she was perceived by sports journalists and commentators and prompted a discourse and articles by Sports Illustrated, Forbes, NPR, NBC, etc. But all of these types of institutions all mediated and reproduced this narrative that Angel Reese is a problem since last year. And when institutions get involved in the discourse on Black women and girls, it works to fix or stagnate us inside the fetishes and distortions of the Eurocentric imagination. Stay with me. For example, Black women were already forced to be mammies, instituted in plantations. But when Pearl Miller put Aunt Jemima on that box in 1888, we were cooked. Black women in domestic work were now natural. It was already in their minds. It was already being practiced. But when institutions, of which have long worked to overdetermine the lives of Black people in general and Black women in particular, when institutions get involved, the discourse, the practice, the unconscious bias become the truth. So much so that even Black people buy into it. What Angel Reese did last year is say that since y'all have painted me out to be the villain, the worst thing that I could do is allow y'all the power, give y'all the power to change who I am. Instead, I will maintain exactly who I am, as I am. And if that becomes the villain in your story, then so be it. She didn't paint the target, she accepted the cross. that she is going to carry, given that she can't help what people connected to these institutions like Acho at Fox 1 or anybody else has to say. We have got to ask ourselves why he was so offended at her sorrow and not offended at those institutions that invoked it. Why wasn't he mad at the death threats she spoke of or the sexualizing she testified to? Why was he so focused on her being grown and therefore not deserving a full right to personhood? Answer, Daily Double. Some black people have adopted and accepted white institutional mediations of black women and girls as an inherent problem, something that needs to be fixed. Those folks will rework these mediations or these written articles on Reese to affirm these perspectives as truth. Like I said, even black people buy into it. Some people have been conditioned to be offended by and afraid of the idea that black women are powerful. But our power doesn't take away anyone else's. And more importantly, our suppression doesn't liberate anyone in the black community of their suppression. We have to work to reframe the notion that black women and girls should receive a conditioned right to personhood. Only if she navigates her femaleness inside the scope of a Eurocentric standard can she then cry, be sad, feel sorrow. Otherwise, we will justify the denial of her humanity by calling her grown. What you doing all that crying for? You pick wrong. You out there being grown. What you sad about? Let me know what you think about Emmanuel Acho's comments about Angel Reese. What can we do to perpetuate the narrative that black women and girls are allowed to be whoever they are? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe, follow, and share. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye.